this whole love approval problem is a false problem. And I'll tell you that. I want to ask you a question. How can you love your children without approving of everything they do? Right? I mean, so recently I had a friend. This was a dear friend. We had been neighbors for years, and we kind of, we potty trained our kids together. We have kids, the little ones were all the same age. And a few years ago, she called me on the phone and she said, Rosaria, we can no longer be friends because you do not approve of me. And I said, oh, Ruth, what did you do now? And she said, well, I have come out as a lesbian and you do not approve of me. And I said, Ruth, I am so sorry you ever thought I approved of you. I never approved of you. And you know what? You never approved of me either. Let me refresh your memory. We fought about Pixar films, chicken nuggets, spankings. She said, oh my goodness, when I was pregnant with June and you constantly made me rice and beans, I hate rice and beans. I flushed your food down the toilet sometimes. I said, well, there you go. You never approved of me, and I never approved of you. So where did you get this crazy notion that I approved of you? I always loved you, but I've never approved of you. So now that we've got that established, what would you like to do? You can't give a good answer to a bad question. And the LGBTQ community has set this paradigm up that if you don't approve, you don't love. And somebody needs to just stop and say, you know what? That's a dumb question. That's a false paradigm. That's ridiculous. The love of Jesus is a conquering love. It's a conquering love. It bore down on the power of Satan. It bore down on the betrayal of friends. And it bore down on every single sin ever committed by anyone who would profess his name for all eternity. You're telling me that love is contained by approval? I don't buy it. So what I would say is you have good relationships with your neighbors. You have strong relationships with your neighbors. You pray to be some earthly good to your neighbors. And you develop a strong enough friendship so that you can have these honest conversations. I was at a dinner. Well, this dinner was at my house. And we have a number of people who come to our house, neighbors, who are Christians in churches that have a pretty diverse, that are different than ours. We're a very conservative church. And one of my very closest friends is a woman elder of a PCUSA church. Now, one of the things she and I agreed about when we met 6 years ago is that we wanted to pray for this neighborhood. And we wanted to see every knee bow to Jesus. And we also agreed that while we couldn't put a church together, we certainly could put a prayer group together. And she's older than I am. And one time we were at my house, and she had brought a friend over, and the friend said, oh, wringing her hands, oh, where did gay theology come from? I said, well, ordaining women is the gateway to gay theology. Well, all of a sudden, people are gasping, and my friend and I, she says, you don't think I know Rosaria says that all the time? I said, I know what she thinks. Look, we're friends, okay? We don't agree on this, but we don't have to. So I think that we're so used to either lambasting people in social media where it doesn't cost us anything. Say anything you want, who cares? Or failing to share the truth in love, that it's like it's like we're 20-year-olds still riding our bike with our training wheels on. Friends can take it. Friends can disagree. Friends cannot approve. Friends pray together at the end of the day. Friends work it out. Friends stick it out. This world has a false notion of friendship as well. And that's in part because it's atomized friendship and it's extracted it from the local church. You know where we are safely friends? The safest place that we are friends is when we take the Lord's Supper. The safest place that we are friends is within the body of Christ. That's not an atomized, separate, set apart, idolatrous friendship. Now, we all have to pray that we would not be misunderstood, but that's not the reason to not be friends. You know, my friend Christopher Yuan says, you know, oh, you're going to invite sinners over for dinner. Well, then that's great, because that sinner will be sitting next to all the other sinners that you have over for dinner. Look, we've got 15 sinners all sitting around the table, the worst of which is my own. Because, that's the truth. Your sin is the one that's going to undo you. You want to know the sin that's going to undo you? It's not your neighbor's. It's yours.